Her name is all over the news. Cassidy Hutchinson, a former aide to ex-White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, testifying before the January 6th committee. Hutchinson telling lawmakers a White House official relayed to her that former President Trump tried to grab the steering wheel of the presidential vehicle and lunged at a Secret Service agent after being told he could not go to the Capitol on January 6th. But former President Trump strongly denying Hutchinson's allegations. And now sources say that two Secret Service agents are ready to testify that the lunging claim is false. Let's bring in Chuck Marino, former Secret Service Supervisory Special Agent. He was part of the security details of former Presidents Clinton, Bush, and Obama. Good morning to you. Thank you for being with us.
Morning. Thanks for having me.
Now, these Secret Service agents being willing to testify that these claims are not true, is that their duty, or are they showing allegiance to the president they vowed to protect?
No, I think what you're seeing from the Secret Service statement that was issued last night is that they've been cooperating with the Select Committee's investigation from the beginning, and they're willing to continue to do so, specifically responding to the allegations that were made yesterday. Look, Ms. Hutchinson's statements yesterday are very concerning, but they're not absolute. They still need to be verified. And, you know, the typical investigative process here would have been for the Select Committee to hear from Ms. Hutchinson and then immediately verify this with the two Secret Service agents that have been mentioned in testimony. But they chose not to do that before holding the public hearing. So now they need to do that in retrospect, because really, if they don't do that and verify what they're being told, it really does a disservice to the whole process. And we have nothing here more than right now, she said, they said, and the they, Secret Service, haven't been spoken to yet.
And the Secret Service agent whom former President Trump reportedly or allegedly lunged at, he has testified, but they're not sharing that testimony yet. The committee is not sharing that testimony publicly yet for whatever reason. These agents who are denying that Ms. Hutchinson's claims are true, obviously they volunteered to cooperate. But what would be the impact if other Secret Service agents are actually asked to share testimony in front of this committee?
Yeah, you know, it's a good question. It's something that the Secret Service experienced firsthand back during the Clinton-Lewinsky investigation by Kenneth Starr. There, the Secret Service sought an executive privilege to exempt themselves from testifying, and that was denied by the courts. So, you know, here we are, and I think as a federal government agency, the Secret Service, based on the court's rulings, have an obligation to work with the Select Committee, which they've been doing from the beginning.
You have a different perspective having served under so many administrations, but this particular committee, it's not a criminal hearing. And you have a panel of lawmakers who all have a similar take on this particular day in history. A hearing like this has not really been seen in our nation ever. What concerns do you have on the January 6th probe?
Well, my first concern is that the Select Committee is operating in a transparent and ethical manner, and that they are truly seeking to get all of the information they need, which is why I'm a little bit bothered by the sequence of the investigation in this case. But, you know, you're right. This is not a court of law, which is why we're seeing hearsay allowed, which this latest allegation by Ms. Hutchinson is a perfect case of. She has personally stated yesterday that she has no firsthand knowledge of what took place in the presidential limo. She was not there, which makes it even more important for the Select Committee to verify exactly what they're being told. But again, they chose not to do that on the front end. They wanted Ms. Hutchinson to testify publicly, and let's hope they're just not taking advantage of a young lady for political purposes here.
Chuck Marino, thank you very much for joining us here on Morning in America. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.